It's not a secret that everybody would like to have more money. But there are certain things that companies are doing, and just people in general, that are psychological tricks to actually get you to spend more money than you need to. And I'm going to go over a couple of these with you in this video so that you can be aware of them and so that you can make the right decisions in the future. I'm going to give you examples of how I've fallen for some of these tricks and traps too, because they work unbelievably well. You might be thinking, well, maybe not on me. Yes, they do. There's a psychological reason these tactics work if you're not paying attention. And they're so subtle that you probably have no idea that they're happening or that they're influencing you. So in this video, we're gonna put more money in your pocket by keeping you from falling for some of these subtle psychological tricks and traps, okay? All right, so the very first one is what's called the halo effect. I want you to think about going into your local grocery store, okay? I'm guessing if you think about the layout of the store, the overwhelming majority of you can realize that as soon as you walk in, immediately to the right, you're gonna see the produce section. Does that sound like your store? Why do you think that is? Do you think that all the grocery stores got together and said, hey, let's have uniformity? No, there's a reason that it's set up this way. The majority of people immediately turn to the right when they walk into a store. Now, the halo effect basically says that if you purchase something healthy, that's good for you, again, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, whatnot, that's healthy. If you do something good on a subconscious level, it actually gives you permission, for lack of a better term, to purchase something less good for you, less healthy later on, because it's balancing out. You're basically weighing it against that first decision. That's that halo. Oh, I did something good. I bought something healthy. Therefore, it's okay for me to go buy these donuts. It's okay for me to go buy these chips. It's okay for me to go buy this, that, or the other. From a food standpoint, this is a huge thing. So, being aware of this, and again, most of the time we don't realize it's happening. But if you can, do your produce last. Do that as the end of your grocery shopping trip. Just beeline through that or cut to another part of the store. Now, this doesn't apply specifically to grocery stores either. The same concept applies to if you put something in your cart and you're like, wow, I got a really good deal on this. That will also impact the halo effect. So if you think about going into any local store, if there's a bargain section, that, hey, here's everything in this section is from $1 to $5 kind of thing. So what do? You always stop there first and you say, okay, well, what's here? And you pick up little knickknacks, things that you don't necessarily need. Yeah, the margins on those are great and they make good money on those, but because you got a bargain on it, you feel like you got a really good deal. Oh my gosh, this only cost me $2 or something to that effect. Now you're actually more inclined to spend more money throughout the course of the entire store. Now some of these things, again, this is kind of like the idea of the reason they put the milk in the back of the grocery stores, because then you got to go through the whole store to get the milk, which means you'll buy more stuff. That's something most people are aware of. This idea of the halo effect is something that a lot of people don't realize is a huge factor and has been for a very, very long time. So I'm not saying you can't get stuff out of the bargain section or what have you. I am saying, though, go through the entire store and purchase whatever you need to, pick up whatever you need to first, then come back to the bargain section, so that way it doesn't impact your decision-making subconsciously throughout the course of the entire store. Okay, so after the halo effect, the next big one is what's called second money. Now, if you're in sales or you sell a product or service or anything like that, this is unbelievably valuable for you to know too, because you can use this to your advantage. This can also work against you. And that is, after we've committed to doing something, we've committed to purchasing something, it is infinitely easier to get us to add on to whatever it is we initially purchased, because we can justify it as, well, I'm already spending this money, what's to spend a little bit more? Second money is always easier to get than first money. And this works on a big and a small scale. And I'm going to tell you exactly how this impacted me just recently. We had a house built. And when we had the house built, they said, well, for an extra $750, we can go ahead and put an electric charging station in the garage for the electric car. I said, oh, I'm spending all this money on a brand new house. Yeah, what's an extra $750? I don't have an electric car, but I had no problem spending that money. Now, had that presented to me initially right out the gate, I probably would have said no. But again, I was already pot committed. I thought I'm already spending this money. So that, again, it can happen on big purchases. This is the reason also that when you buy a car, they say, well, would you like to upgrade the sound system? Would you like the clear coat on this? Would you like the windows tinted? After you've already mentally committed to spending some money, it is infinitely easier to get people to spend more by simply adding on additional products or services, because it seems like a logical choice to us. This is no different than when you go through the drive-through at your local fast food place and they say, well, would you like to upsize it for 50 cents more? You don't necessarily want the super size. You don't need the super size. You know that the smaller size is plenty of food for you, but we upsize it for 50 cents more, not because it's a great deal, because it's second money. If we're already spending $8-9, what's an extra 50 cents kind of thing? Same with the movie theater. What's an extra 25 cents for a large popcorn versus a medium popcorn when all you need is a medium popcorn? It's because second money is an incredibly powerful skill, or psychological tactic, I should say. So if you're going to do this, you have to go into it in advance. So you say, this is exactly what I want. And once you commit to it, you say, I don't want to add anything else on. And they say, well, would you like? No. You have to say, no, 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 no. You have to be perfectly clear, because that is an easy hook that is so simplistic for all of us to fall into. And again, I'm guilty of this myself, so I'm not saying that I'm exempt from this. But knowing this about yourself, it will allow you to be infinitely more aware of how you spend your money and make sure that you can keep more of it in your pocket. Now, the third one that I want to go over is probably the single biggest one in my personal opinion. This is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, and it's called disassociation from your money. What this basically means is, interestingly enough, they've discovered that when we spend money, the same area of our brain lights up when we feel physical pain. It is actually physically painful to spend our money. So the more pain we have, just like with a lab rat or something like that, if we feel pain, we're taught not to do that. Hey, if it hurts, don't do that. If you touch this hot stove, don't do that. So retailers and whatnot got together, and they said, or just the money industry, so to speak, got together and they said, okay, well, we don't want people to feel pain when they spend their money, because that'll mean they'll spend less money. So by disassociating us from our money, making it so it doesn't feel like we're spending, we will spend considerably more. So how do we do that? Well, anything from, it really started with when checks came out. When everything was cash, that was one thing. Well, when you write a check, you're still spending your money, but it didn't feel like it because your money was in the bank. And then it became debit cards and credit cards. If you go to use your credit card for something, you know that's your money. You know that you're spending your money, but it doesn't feel like you're spending your money in that moment. You go, oh, well, I can pay this off tomorrow or next week or next month or next year or whatever it is. So we swipe because it doesn't feel like spending money. They've shown that turns off that pain receptor part of the brain. And some companies have gotten amazingly good at this. Look at Amazon's one-click ordering, or using your Alexa to say, hey, order me some, purchase me some paper towels kind of thing, or having anything set to auto ship. That doesn't require you to spend more money. Again, credit card companies make billions of dollars off of the fact that it just doesn't feel like you're spending your money, even though intellectually you're abundantly aware of it, but it takes the pain out of it. That area of your brain doesn't light up. And then you go to have to pay your credit card bill, and you think, well, dang, I got to pay my credit card bill, so I feel the pain then. Yes, you do, but you don't associate that to the purchases that you made. Or better yet, you don't associate it to the purchases you're going to make. So the next time you go to the store and you think that you want something, it doesn't feel like it. You don't go, oh my gosh, this is going to hurt so bad when I got to pay my credit card bill. No, you just swipe it and think, that's future me's problem kind of thing. So in order to get around this one, you have to start to reassociating yourself to the pain of spending money. Now, one of the things that I have my clients do when they want to change their financial situation is I tell them, you got to track everything that you spend. I don't care if you spend 50 cents on a Coca-Cola kind of thing. You got to write that down, because even if you're using a credit card instead of cash, or you're doing one-click ordering, or you've got your auto renewal on for your streaming service or anything like that, when you physically actually have to write down, I spent XYZ dollars on this, and I spent XYZ dollars on that. Just the act of writing it down reinforces it, and you start to associate pain to the spending again. So you become infinitely more aware of the money that you're spending. You break that disassociation cycle, so that way, I'm not saying you can't spend your money, but know what you're spending it on. Feel the pain that you feel from spending it and figure out, is this pain worth it? So for what it's worth, that's an easy way to get around that one, is you need to track your spending. And truthfully, there are a slew of different ways that psychological tricks and tactics that people use to get us to spend more money, and the 99.9% of the population have no idea that they're there. So I just wanted to give you some of the basic ones right out of the gate in this video. If you're interested and you want to be more aware of how these tricks are being played on you, make sure you click the subscribe button. If you found any of these interesting, or better yet, if you've fallen for any of these tricks, leave a comment, tell us about it. Let other people know that, yes, I'm not alone in this, that I've made this mistake too. Put that in the comments, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to get more of these tips and tricks, or just general better ways to understand how you work as an individual so that you can enhance your life. That's what we're all about here. But I hope that you'll take these to heart. I hope the next time you're going to spend your money, you'll become infinitely more aware of this so that you can take more control of it, and you can actually start to put yourself in the financial situation that you really want to be in.